The National Wildlife Federation held a teleconference today to talk about politics and prospects for climate and energy in 2010. Among the experts there, topics range from the Congressional Action on climate change to the Clean Air Act to global competitiveness. David Goldston of NRDC, Joe Mendelson of NWF, and Angela Anderson of US CAN, Climate Action Network. Jeremy Symons is a Senior VP at the National Wildlife Federation. He moderated that event and joins us now. Jeremy, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on.
So you had a good turnout. It went well today.
Well, it went very well. It's an important time to get our message out. I think everyone's interested, despite the diagnosis that we just heard, maybe a little bit premature, where exactly we are actually headed on energy, and in particular, a cap to limit global warming pollution. Was
that the overwhelming theme there today?
That was a big theme. There is a lot of momentum that we feel we have coming into 2010. And this is, in fact, our best chance to get a comprehensive energy and climate bill that gives us more jobs, less pollution, and greater security.
Now, a lot of the talk now in the climate and energy circles is wrapping everything around jobs, and you believe that the best opportunity to create jobs is to put that cap on.
Yeah, I think people are completely misreading the impact of the economic situation on the prospects for a good, solid climate and energy bill. Look, we know that industry is sitting on billions of dollars in potential investments that get unleashed for clean energy investments and low pollution technology investments as soon as the president actually signs a bill that gives clear rules to the road on how clean energy investments will be rewarded. Right now, they don't have that. There's no profitability in clean energy that actually will, and that's sufficient to bring those jobs to bear. But those jobs are waiting.
So the accord in Copenhagen did not quite do the job. Are you saying that we need Congress to do the job and then this investment will be unleashed?
Well, Copenhagen was always, in the international agreement, is always the follower rather than the leader in terms of our strategy, in terms of President Obama's strategy. He was very clear last year in laying out his strategy, which is to get a comprehensive bill, including a cap with clean energy investments, first through the House, and then after healthcare through the Senate. Well, healthcare took a long time. Just because it took a long time doesn't mean that the idea of moving an energy bill this year is dead. Copenhagen, on the other hand, would have benefited from Congress having passed that bill and the president being able to go over to Copenhagen with a clear plan of action in hand. Instead, he had to read the tea leaves a little bit, and that was a handicap. But he went over and he delivered a turnaround, a turning point on the global scene, which is that China and other major developing nations, major emitting developing nations, are willing to join us in the fight to reduce pollution. The key comes back now into our court. Are we going to lead the surge towards the clean energy technology market, or are we going to let China and other countries, now that they're on board, now that they're moving forward, are we going to let them lead the way and us become a follower?
That was the big achievement, I guess, in Copenhagen, is to realize that the big developing nations like China and India are on board.
Well, it only took us 20 years to get there. So yes, that's a big deal.
So you say we have turned a corner with nations like China, and now it's a matter of is the U.S. going to fall behind or be a leader there?
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's really the question at the end of the day. China's not going to wait to continue what they've been doing in their 5-year plan with investments in efficiency and clean energy. We've been waiting. We've been doing nothing but waiting. We've been waiting an awful long time to unleash those investments.
Well, China has already put efficiency goals into its long-term plan.
That's right.
Now, the Senate plan has an efficiency goal, but we sort of don't know what it will do.
Yeah, I mean, there are two different bills that are going to be brought together and added to by Senators Graham, Kerry, and Lieberman as they bring forward a bipartisan proposal. And that's going to include both the climate bill coming out of the Senate EPW committee and the energy bill coming out of Senator Bingham's committee. And I think what you have the makings of is the grand bargain. And this is the first time the Senate's really had this opportunity to sit down and in a comprehensive way say, let's put limits on global warming pollution to make clean energy profitable in a big way that gets private sector moving. Let's combine that with strong government programs on energy supply across the board and clean energy and other issues, including some that the environmental community is very uncomfortable with, including a large investment in nuclear power and including some development of offshore oil beyond where we already are. That's the grand bargain. It's there, but there's only one path forward, and that path is to bring it all together where you can actually get 60 votes. I think the 60 votes are there. I think it can be brought together. I think the talk about the cap and the environmental piece of this and the clean energy jobs piece of this being left on the cutting room floor is premature, because if we go that path and end up with nothing but another handout to the entrenched energy interest, we'll certainly oppose that legislation, and I believe a lot of people will.
So where does the EPA action to regulate greenhouse gases work in here? What is your organization's stance on all the opposition to it right now?
Well, we certainly think that Senator Murkowski, who's been looking for a way forward on climate legislation, has taken a wrong turn. And this Dirty Air Amendment that we are looking at, Dirty Air Act Amendment, is a step backwards. It's a step backwards on jobs and on pollution. I think it's a political misstep as well. I think that it is it's politically risky ground for anybody at this moment, for the first vote on the environment and energy in the new decade, to say we're in favor of opening up new loopholes in the Clean Air Act, and we don't have a plan. We haven't passed a plan yet to actually move us forward on clean energy. I don't see how they do that, and I think it's asking people to take a very tough vote. What
kind of mention of energy and climate legislation do you see coming out of the State of the Union?
Well, the President was strong on the need to get this bill in the first State of the Union. I'd certainly expect him to bring it up here. But I see it more in context of a series of leadership moves they've made, including with EPA, including his leadership over in Copenhagen. Look, 2 weeks into the negotiation, those talks were dead. The President came over and saved them. He didn't need to do that, put his own political reputation on the line, but he spent 12 hours and he brought back the deal and got the deal with China.
Excuse me.
No problem.
All right, Jeremy Symons with NWF, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it.